Hey there, food lovers! In today's video, we will be diving into classic soups that brought comfort to families during tough times. From hearty stews to soul-soothing broths, these recipes are more than meals. They are a taste of warmth, resilience, history, and love. Grab your spoons because this is nostalgia served hot. Potato soup.
Today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making a hearty and delicious potato soup.
First on the list, we have potato soup, also referred to as the unsung hero of comfort food. It's humble, hearty, and totally iconic. Why was potato soup such a life-saving dish, you might ask? Well, potatoes were cheap, versatile, and easy to grow, even in harsh conditions. Families could stretch a sack of spuds for weeks, turning them into the star of a dish that's as filling as it is flavorful. Add a splash of milk, a sprinkle of salt, maybe a bit of onion or bacon if you were lucky, and boom, you had a meal that warmed not just your body, but your soul. Now, potato soup was more than just food. It was a symbol of resilience. Families gathered around the table, sharing stories and laughter over bowls of creamy goodness. It reminded everyone that even in the darkest times, a simple meal could bring comfort and connection. So, next time you're slurping up some potato soup, remember, it's not just soup. Let's move to a soup that is a celebration of resourcefulness and proof that a little can truly go a long way. Carrot and lentil soup. Carrot and lentil soup, a humble, hearty, and outright heroic soup. During hard times, this simple yet nourishing dish became a staple for families everywhere. Why? Because it's the ultimate budget-friendly comfort food. Just a handful of carrots, some lentils, a few spices, and you've got a bowl of magic that's packed with nutrients and flavor. Carrots were easy to grow and store, making them a go-to ingredient in kitchens during lean time. Meanwhile, lentils, those tiny protein powerhouses, stretched meals farther, keeping everyone full and fueled for the day ahead. Together, they created a creamy, earthy soup that warmed not just bellies, but hearts. This soup brought families together around the table, proving that even in the toughest times, you could create something special with just a few pantry staples. Up next is a little taste of history, served warm and comforting. Tomato soup.
And today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making a rich and creamy tomato soup.
We have a soup that's been a lifesaver for generations, tomato soup. During tough times, whether it was the Great Depression or chilly winters on a tight budget, this classic dish proved to be more than just a meal. It was a symbol of hope. Tomatoes were cheap, often homegrown, and could stretch into a hearty pot of soup with just a few pantry staples. Add some water, a pinch of salt, and maybe a splash of milk if you were lucky, and voila, you had a meal that could feed the whole family without breaking the bank. Pair it with a slice of bread or crackers, and suddenly, even the harshest days felt a little more manageable. But the magic of tomato soup wasn't just in its affordability, it was in the warmth it brought. The rich, tangy flavor felt like a hug in a bowl, reminding families that even in hard times, there was comfort to be found in the simplest thing. Tomato soup wasn't just food, it was hope. Next on the list is a simple soup that catered even to the low class. Onion soup.
And today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making French onion soup.
Onion soup, often called the poor man's soup, has a rich history of providing warmth and sustenance during hard times. Originating in France, it was a simple yet hearty dish made from the most humble of ingredients: onions, water, and bread. For families facing financial hardship, onion soup was a lifesaver. Onions were affordable, easy to store, and readily available, making them an ideal staple for a budget-friendly meal. The secret of the onion soup lies in its transformation of modest ingredients into something deeply satisfying. By slowly caramelizing onions, cooks could create a rich, flavorful base with a hint of natural sweetness. Adding water or broth stretched the meal further, and stale bread often found a second life floating atop the soup, absorbing the savory broth. For a special treat, a sprinkle of cheese turned the dish into a comforting indulgence. Beyond its practicalities, onion soup brought families together. Let's move on to a soup that filled homes with its inviting aroma and warmed both hearts and stomachs. Minestrone. Minestrone, the hearty Italian vegetable soup, has long been a symbol of resilience and resourcefulness, especially during hard times. Rooted in peasant traditions, this dish was born from necessity, with families using whatever seasonal vegetables, beans, and scraps they had on hand to create a filling, nourishing meal. Its adaptability made it a cornerstone of survival, ensuring no food went to waste. During economic hardships and wartime rationing, minestrone proved invaluable. With its base of inexpensive ingredients like potatoes, onions, onions and canned tomatoes, families could stretch their limited resources while still enjoying a warm, comforting meal. Pasta or rice, when available, added bulk, making it even more satisfying. The addition of beans provided much-needed protein, ensuring balanced nutrition when other sources were scarce. Minestrone also brought families together around the table. The act of chopping vegetables, simmering the pot, and sharing the result fostered a sense of community and hope. In its humble yet hearty simplicity, minestrone not only fed the body but also uplifted the spirit, embodying the idea that even in tough times, a good meal can bring warmth and joy. Pea soup.
My mom makes the best split pea soup and
Pea soup, simple and oh so hearty. This classic dish became a lifeline for families, offering warmth, nourishment, and a little comfort when resources were scarce. Made with dried peas, it's one of the most cost-effective meals you could make. In an era when fresh produce wasn't always readily available, dried peas were a pantry staple, able to be stored for months. The beauty of pea soup lies in its versatility. You could stretch a small amount of meat or bone to create a rich, flavorful broth, while the peas provided both protein and fiber to keep everyone full. Whether it was the smoky taste of ham, a dash of herbs, or just salt and pepper, pea soup could be personalized based on what was available. This dish was more than just a meal. It was a symbol of resilience. It kept families going through the toughest winters, offering them both physical warmth and a sense of home. So let's raise a bowl to pea soup. Comfort in a bowl through thick and thin. Vegetable barley soup.
Today we are making this hearty vegetable-loaded barley soup.
Let's talk about a soup that's as affordable as it is heartwarming, vegetable barley soup. Back in the day, during some of the toughest times, this simple yet hearty dish was a true lifesaver. Families struggling to make ends meet turned to barley, a super affordable grain, and whatever veggies they could scrape together to create a filling, nutritious meal. The beauty of vegetable barley soup lies in its adaptability. Got a few carrots, some celery, and maybe a potato or two? Toss them in. No fancy ingredients needed. The barley adds that chewy, satisfying texture, making every spoonful feel like a hug in a bowl. Plus, it's packed with fiber and nutrients, perfect for stretching meager ingredients into a meal that could feed a crowd. This soup didn't just warm bodies, it brought people together. Gathered around the table, families shared stories, laughter, and hope, all while savoring a simple yet flavorful dish, vegetable barley. Soup is proof that even in hard times, love and ingenuity can turn scarcity into something special. Pumpkin squash soup.
And today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making an easy, delicious butternut squash soup.
This soup has been warming hearts and bellies for generations. The pumpkin squash soup. This classic dish has a very rich history and was especially known during times when families had to make do with what they had. Pumpkins and squash were staples in many households because they are easy to grow, store well through the winter, and pack a ton of nutrition into every bite. Back in the day, especially during the Great Depression or wartime shortages, pumpkin or squash soup wasn't just food, it was a lifeline. These hearty vegetables could stretch a meal, feed a whole family, and still feel like a warm hug in a bowl. Add a little onion, maybe some herbs, and if you were lucky, a splash of cream or milk, and you had a filling, flavorful dish that could brighten even the darkest days. Pumpkin soup reminds us that simplicity doesn't mean sacrificing comfort and the power of making something special out of the simplest ingredients. Rutabaga and turnip soup.
This week, I'm making creamy rutabaga soup.
Next up, we have a real underdog in the world of comfort food, the rutabaga and turnip soup. This humble soup was a lifesaver for countless families during the Great Depression, wars, and harsh winters. You might ask why. That's because these root vegetables are cheap, nutritious, and grow in just about any soil. That made them staples in gardens everywhere, especially when times were tight. What's amazing is how adaptable this soup was. Add a little cream or butter if you had it, or stretch it with a handful of rice or barley. It's a bowl of history, resilience, and resourcefulness that deserves a spotlight in any kitchen. Split pea soup.
my mom makes the best split pea soup and
Split pea soup. During the hard times when budgets were tight and resources stretched thin, this soup was a lifesaver for families everywhere. Why? Because split peas were cheap, packed with protein, and could be transformed into a filling meal with just a few simple ingredients. Add an onion, a couple of carrots, and maybe a leftover ham bone if you were lucky, and voila, dinner was served. This soup wasn't just about nourishment, though. It was about making do and making it work. Families would gather around the table, their homes filled with the comforting aroma of simmering peas. It became a symbol of resilience, warming not just bellies but also hearts during some of life's coldest moments. Even today, split pea soup carries that nostalgic charm. It's like a culinary hug, reminding us of the resourcefulness of those who came before us. So the next time you whip up a pot, remember, you're tasting a little piece of history, one spoonful at a time. Lentil soup.
And today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making a delicious lentil soup.
The lentil soup has been a life-saving dish for families through thick and thin. For families that had a very tight budget, lentil soup wasn't just a meal, it was a strategy for survival. Packed with protein, fiber, and essential nutrients, lentils were a cheap and accessible staple that kept bellies full and spirits lifted. Families could stretch a small bag of lentils into multiple meals, adding whatever vegetables, spices, or scraps were on hand. In tough economic times like the Great Depression or wartime shortages, lentil soup was the perfect example of making the most out of almost nothing. Then again, it wasn't just about sustenance. Sitting down to a steaming bowl of lentil soup brought families together. It was comfort in a bowl, a symbol of resilience, and a reminder that even in hard times, simple, wholesome food could still feel like a warm hug. Bean soup.
And today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making a quick and easy black bean soup.
The bean soup is a very humble dish with a powerful story. In the times when every penny counted, this simple yet hearty soup became a lifesaver for countless families. Beans were cheap, nutritious, and easy to store, making them a staple in kitchens across the world. Paired with whatever was on hand, maybe a few veggies, a ham bone, or just some herbs, bean soup transformed basic ingredients into something magical. This wasn't just a meal, it was survival in a bowl. During the Great Depression, bean soup stretched small budgets, feeding large families without breaking the bank. And let's not forget the warmth it brought, both physically and emotionally. Picture a cold winter evening. The whole family huddled around a steaming pot, sharing stories while the soup simmered. It wasn't just about sustenance, it was about connection. Even today, bean soup carries that same comforting vibe. It's a reminder that even in the hardest times, a simple pot of soup can bring warmth, hope, and a little bit of joy. Chickpea soup. Let's talk about chickpea soup. This classic dish has a rich history of bringing warmth and nourishment to families during life's toughest moments. Chickpea soup was a symbol of resourcefulness. Families would simmer a pot of this golden goodness with whatever they had on hand, maybe a few carrots, onions, or leftover herbs. A pinch of seasoning and a lot of love turned simple ingredients into a hearty, filling meal that could feed a crowd. The magic of the chickpea soup did not just stop at its practicality. It brought people together, filling homes with the comforting aroma of simmering broth. Around the dinner table, it was a reminder that even in the hardest times, warmth and connection could be found in a shared meal. Chickpea soup isn't just a recipe, it's a legacy of resilience. Black-eyed pea soup. The black-eyed pea soup has long been a symbol of resourcefulness and resilience, especially during difficult times. Rooted in Southern tradition, this hearty dish offered comfort and sustenance to families facing economic hardships, wars, or natural disasters. Its simplicity and affordability made it a staple, providing a filling and nutritious meal when resources were scarce. The black-eyed pea, a legume rich in protein, fiber, and essential nutrients, has been cultivated for centuries. Combined with basic pantry ingredients like onions, garlic, and broth, it could be transformed into a warm, flavorful soup that nourished both body and soul. Often enhanced with scraps of ham or smoked turkey for added depth, this dish proved how a little creativity in the kitchen could stretch ingredients to feed an entire family. Beyond its practical benefits, black-eyed pea soup carried cultural significance. It was often served during New Year's celebrations in African American households as a symbol of luck and prosperity. In tough times, the soup became a reminder of hope, tradition, and the power of coming together around a shared meal. Chicken noodle soup.
And today we're making classic chicken noodle soup.
Chicken noodle soup has long been a symbol of comfort. Its simplicity, affordability, and nourishing qualities made it a staple in homes facing financial or emotional struggles. During the Great Depression, when budgets were tight, families stretched their resources by combining inexpensive ingredients like chicken bones, vegetables, and noodles into a hearty, filling meal. The soup's flexibility allowed it to adapt to what was on hand, making it both economical and resourceful. Beyond its practicality, chicken noodle soup carried an emotional weight. It was more than just food. It was an expression of care and hope. For generations, mothers prepared steaming bowls of this classic dish to soothe the sick or weary, offering warmth in both a literal and metaphorical sense. Its aroma filled homes with a sense of security and normalcy, even in the most uncertain times. Today, chicken noodle soup remains a timeless comfort, a reminder of how simple, heartfelt meals can sustain both body and spirit during life's toughest challenges. Beef and barley soup.
Beef and barley soup is one of those things that you probably don't think about a lot, but after you try this recipe, you're gonna realize why it needs to be in your kitchen.
Beef and barley soup has long been a symbol of comfort and sustenance, especially during challenging times. This hearty dish combines simple, affordable ingredients to create a meal that nourishes both the body and soul. Its roots trace back to agrarian societies, where barley was a staple grain, prized for its versatility and nutritional value. Paired with bits of beef, often sourced from tougher cuts or leftovers, this soup became a way to stretch limited resources while providing a robust meal. During hard times, such as the Great Depression or wartime rationing, beef and barley soup offered a solution for families facing economic hardship. The barley thickened the soup, making it filling enough to satisfy even the hungriest appetites. Vegetables, often homegrown, added nutrients and flavor, while slow cooking transformed modest ingredients into a rich, flavorful dish. Beyond its practicality, the soup carried emotional significance. It was often prepared in large batches, encouraging families to gather around the table. In doing so, it became a source of warmth, both literal and metaphorical, sustaining families through adversity. Chicken and rice soup.
Today I'm making an easy chicken and rice soup.
Chicken and rice soup is known to be quite popular amongst struggling families because of its simplicity, affordability, and nutritional benefits. This comforting dish was a staple for families facing economic challenges, particularly during the Great Depression and wartime shortages. Its ingredients, often scraps or leftovers, transformed into a wholesome meal that could stretch to feed many mouths. Chicken, often considered a luxury, was used sparingly, with every part contributing to the soup. Bones were simmered to create a flavorful broth, while small bits of meat were added to enhance the dish. Rice, a pantry staple, provided substance and made the soup filling enough to sustain hardworking families. Vegetables, sometimes homegrown or salvaged, brought color and essential nutrients to the pot. This soup wasn't just about sustenance, it was about comfort. The warm, savory aroma filled homes, offering a sense of security even in uncertain times. Chicken and rice soup reminded families that even with limited means, they could create something hearty, delicious, and deeply satisfying. Turkey soup.
Friends, today we're gonna make a super easy leftover turkey soup.
Turkey soup has long been a symbol of resourcefulness and comfort, especially during hard times. Traditionally made from the leftovers of a roasted turkey, this humble dish embodies the spirit of making the most out of limited resources. After a holiday meal, families would save the bones, meat scraps, and even vegetable peels to create a flavorful broth. Nothing went to waste, a necessity when budgets were tight. During economic hardships, turkey soup provided warmth and nourishment. Rich in protein, vitamins, and minerals, it became a hearty meal that could stretch to feed large families. Adding inexpensive ingredients like potatoes, rice, or barley transformed the soup into a filling dish, making it a staple for days on end. But turkey soup isn't just about sustenance, it's about togetherness. The act of simmering a pot of soup brought families together, filling the home with a comforting aroma. In every bowl was a reminder of resilience, creativity, and the simple joys of sharing a meal. Even today, turkey soup carries the legacy of warmth and love through challenging times. Pork and potato soup. Pork and potato soup has long been a symbol of resilience and ingenuity, especially during hard times. This hearty, humble dish combines affordable ingredients with robust flavors to create a filling and comforting meal that nourishes both body and spirit. Families facing economic struggles often turn to this soup because it made the most of limited resources while providing essential nutrients. The simplicity of pork and potato soup made it a go-to for stretching a tight budget. Pork scraps or bones, often the most affordable cuts, imparted rich flavor to the broth, while potatoes served as a starchy, belly-filling base. Onions, garlic, and simple seasonings transformed these basics into a flavorful and satisfying dish. The versatility of the recipe allowed families to adapt it to what they had on hand, adding carrots, celery, or even leftover greens when available. Beyond sustenance, the act of gathering around a warm pot of soup fostered a sense of togetherness. In challenging times, pork and potato soup wasn't just a meal. It was a source of comfort, stability, and warmth. Corn chowder.
A creamy and delicious corn chowder. So let's get started.
Corn chowder, a simple yet hearty dish, has long been a source of comfort and nourishment during difficult times. Born from the ingenuity of resourceful cooks, it became a staple in households where stretching ingredients was essential. Corn, often abundant and affordable, served as the foundation for this warm and satisfying soup. During hard times, families turned to corn chowder for its ability to feed many with minimal ingredients. A basic recipe of corn, potatoes, onions, milk, and a touch of butter could be elevated with whatever was on hand: bacon, cream, or even leftover vegetables. Its creamy texture and rich flavor offered not only sustenance, but also a sense of warmth and normalcy amidst uncertainty. Corn chowder also brought families together, with its preparation often becoming a shared experience. Children husked corn, while adults chopped and stirred. This communal effort turned a humble meal into a symbol of resilience and togetherness. Even today, corn chowder remains a reminder of the resourcefulness and unity that helped families endure life's challenges. Rice and bean soup. Rice and bean soup isn't just a dish, it's a legacy of resilience, is a popular line heard amongst families who often eat this soup. During hard times, whether it was the Great Depression or simply a tight budget, this humble soup became a culinary hero. Why? Because it was affordable, filling, and packed with nutrition. Rice provided energy, beans brought protein, and with a pinch of salt and a few spices, it transformed into a meal that hugged you from the inside out. It didn't need expensive ingredients. Whatever you had on hand worked. Leftover veggies, a bit of broth, or even just water. The beauty of rice and bean soup was its flexibility and simplicity, but more than sustenance, it brought families together. Sharing a pot of soup was a reminder that no matter how tough life got, warmth and comfort were just a ladle away. It's a timeless recipe that proves great food doesn't have to cost a fortune, it just needs heart. Oatmeal soup. All right, let's talk about the oatmeal soup, a humble yet heroic dish that's been warming families through thick and thin. Picture this, it's a freezing winter evening and money's tight. What do you have? A sack of oats, maybe an onion, some leftover broth if you're lucky, and a bit of creativity. Enter oatmeal soup, a meal that proves you don't need a lot to create something comforting and delicious. This hearty soup was a lifesaver during hard times, from the Great Depression to post-war struggles. Oats were cheap, filling, and packed with nutrients, making them the perfect base. Add whatever scraps were on hand, maybe some potatoes, a bit of bacon, or even wild herbs, and voila, you had a meal that fed the whole family. The magic of oatmeal soup isn't just in its simplicity, it's in the warmth it brought to the table. It wasn't just food, it was hope in a bowl. Today, it's a reminder that resilience, like soup, starts with the basics. Barley and mushroom soup.
Made with barley and mushroom soup.
Next up, we have the barley and mushroom soup. This classic and nourishing meal is known to bring solace and comfort to families. This hearty soup, made with wholesome ingredients like barley, mushrooms, and vegetables, has been a staple in many cultures, particularly during periods of economic struggle or harsh weather conditions. The soup's rich, comforting flavor and aroma can evoke a sense of warmth and togetherness, bringing families closer as they gather around the table to share a meal. Moreover, the soup's nutritional value provides a much-needed boost to energy levels, helping families cope with the challenges of difficult times. As a symbol of resilience and hope, barley and mushroom soup has been a beacon of warmth and comfort for many families during their darkest hours. Egg drop soup.
This egg drop soup really does tick all of the boxes for fast, easy, and nourishing.
Egg drop soup is a humble Chinese dish which has been a beacon of warmth and comfort for families navigating hard times. This simple yet nourishing soup, made with eggs, chicken broth, and gently stirred droplets, provided sustenance and solace during periods of economic hardship. As families gathered around the table to share a steaming bowl, the warmth and aroma of the soup brought them closer, fostering a sense of togetherness and hope. The soup's comforting flavor and nutritional value helped to alleviate the physical and emotional toll of difficult times. Through its enduring presence in Chinese cuisine, egg drop soup has become a symbol of resilience and community, reminding families that even in the darkest moments, there is always warmth to be found in the simplest of things. Its legacy continues to inspire and nourish families to this day. Dumpling soup.
I'm going to introduce you to really easy and delicious recipe today. Are you interested in it? It's called dumpling soup.
Up next, we have dumpling soup. A traditional comfort food in many Eastern cultures, has been a steadfast source of warmth and solace for families navigating hard times. This hearty soup, filled with tender dumplings and nourishing broth, provided sustenance and comfort during periods of economic hardship, harsh weather, and personal struggle. As families gathered around the table to share a steaming bowl, the warmth and aroma of the soup brought them closer, fostering a sense of togetherness and hope. The soup's comforting flavor and nutritional value helped to alleviate the physical and emotional toll of difficult times. Through its enduring presence in family traditions, dumpling soup has become a symbol of resilience, love, and community, reminding families that even in the darkest moments, there is always warmth to be found in the simplest, most nourishing of things. fish chowder.
The All Recipes member who submitted this recipe for fish chowder comments that they got it straight from the source.
Fish chowder is a hearty and comforting stew originating from the coastal communities of North America. It has been a beacon of warmth and sustenance for families navigating hard times. This nourishing dish, made with fresh fish, potatoes, onions, and cream, provided a sense of comfort and security during periods of economic hardship, harsh weather, and personal struggle. As families gathered around the table to share a steaming bowl, the warmth and aroma of the chowder brought them closer, fostering a sense of togetherness and hope. The dish's comforting flavor and nutritional value helped to alleviate the physical and emotional toll of difficult times. Through its enduring presence in family traditions, fish chowder has become a symbol of resilience, community, and love, reminding families that even in the darkest moments, there is always warmth to be found in a shared, nourishing meal. Ramen. Ramen, a humble Japanese noodle soup, has been a comforting staple for families navigating hard times. This steaming bowl of goodness, filled with springy noodles, rich broth, and various toppings, provided warmth and sustenance during periods of economic hardship, personal struggle, and harsh weather. As families gathered around the table to share a piping hot bowl, the aroma and flavor of ramen brought them closer, fostering a sense of togetherness and hope. The dish's affordability and accessibility made it a reliable option for families struggling to make ends meet. Through its enduring presence in Japanese cuisine, ramen has become a symbol of resilience, community, and love, reminding families that even in the darkest moments, there is always warmth to be found in a simple, nourishing bowl of soup. Ramen's comforting warmth continues to nourish bodies and souls to this day. Borscht.
On today's episode, I'm so excited to share with you our borscht recipe.
Borscht, a vibrant and nourishing beet-based soup, has been a comforting staple for families navigating hard times. Originating from Eastern Europe, this hearty soup, filled with vegetables, beans, and sometimes meat, provided warmth and sustenance during periods of economic hardship, war, and harsh weather. The aroma and flavor of borscht is known to bring families closer together, fostering a sense of togetherness and hope. The soup's affordability and adaptability made it a reliable option for families struggling to make ends meet. Through its enduring presence in Eastern European cuisine, borscht has become a symbol of resilience, community, and love, reminding families that even in the darkest moments, there is always warmth to be found in a simple, nourishing bowl of soup. Borscht's comforting warmth continues to nourish bodies and souls to this day. Pozole.
Pozole is delicious, and it is one of the central dishes to Mexican cuisine.
Next, we have the pozole, a traditional Mexican stew which has been a beacon of warmth and comfort for families navigating hard times. This hearty, comforting dish, made with hominy and pork or chicken, has been a staple in Mexican cuisine for centuries. During periods of economic hardship, war, and personal struggle, pozole has provided sustenance and solace for families. As families gathered around the table to share a steaming bowl, the aroma and flavor of pozole brought them closer, fostering a sense of togetherness and hope. The soup's rich, comforting flavor and nutritional value helped to alleviate the physical and emotional toll of difficult times. Pozole's adaptability also made it a reliable option for families struggling to make ends meet, as it could be made with readily available and affordable ingredients. Through its enduring presence in Mexican cuisine, pozole has become a symbol of resilience, community, and love. This comforting stew has warmed the hearts and bellies of families for generations, reminding them that even in the darkest moments, there is always warmth to be found in a shared, nourishing meal. Pozole's comforting warmth continues to nourish bodies and souls to this day. Avgolemono.
Kitchen, we're making avgolemono, my favorite Greek chicken soup. So let's get started.
Avgolemono is a comforting Greek soup with a creamy, tangy flavor that's unique yet familiar. Made with chicken broth, rice or orzo, and a mixture of whisked eggs and lemon juice, the soup achieves its velvety consistency without any cream. The key lies in tempering the egg mixture with hot broth to create a smooth, luscious texture. Often garnished with fresh parsley or dill, avgolemono is both hearty and refreshing, making it perfect for chilly days or as a pick-me-up during cold season. The balance of bright citrus and savory broth has made it a staple in Greek kitchens for generations, offering warmth and nourishment when it's needed most. Our next soup brings a smoky, hearty twist with ham and tender beans. Ham and bean soup.
This basic ham and bean soup was submitted by All Recipes member J.A. McConville, who says,
Ham and bean soup is a simple, nourishing dish that combines smoky ham with tender navy beans in a rich, savory broth. Slow cooked with onions, garlic, and celery, the flavors meld together beautifully, creating a comforting meal that's both hearty and economical. Often made with a ham hock or leftover holiday ham, this soup was a go-to for feeding large families during tough times. Its thick, creamy texture comes from the natural starches in the beans, making it satisfying enough to serve as a full meal. Paired with cornbread or crusty bread, ham and bean soup warms both the body and the spirit, offering a taste of tradition in every bite. The next entry showcases a union of tender meatballs and fresh greens in a cherished Italian classic. Italian wedding soup is a heartwarming dish that brings together tender meatballs, leafy greens like spinach or escarole, and tiny pasta such as acini di pepe. Despite its name, the soup isn't tied to weddings. It refers to the perfect marriage of its flavors. Simmered in a flavorful chicken or beef broth, it strikes the ideal balance of lightness and comfort. The meatballs, often made with a blend of beef and pork, add a rich, savory note, while grated Parmesan cheese finishes the dish with a touch of indulgence. Italian wedding soup is beloved for its versatility. It's elegant enough for special occasions, but simple enough for everyday family meals. Our next soup turns a seasonal favorite into a smooth, creamy delight. Butternut squash soup transforms the humble squash into a dish of elegant simplicity. Roasted squash forms the base, blended with onions, garlic, and vegetable broth to create a smooth golden soup. Cream or coconut milk adds richness, while spices like nutmeg or cinnamon bring a touch of warmth. Often garnished with toasted pumpkin seeds or a drizzle of olive oil, it's a comforting meal perfect for chilly autumn days. Sweet, savory, and satisfying, butternut squash soup is as visually appealing as it is delicious, making it a favorite on both dinner tables and holiday menus. The next soup takes us to Portugal with a rustic dish packed with kale and flavor. Caldo verde, meaning green broth, is a traditional Portuguese soup that blends simple ingredients into a dish of remarkable depth. Creamy potatoes form the base, pureed into a smooth consistency, while ribbons of kale add vibrant color and texture. Slices of smoky chorizo or linguiça sausage are added to enhance the flavor with a savory kick. Served with crusty bread or cornbread, caldo verde is a staple of Portuguese cuisine, loved for its comforting warmth and rustic simplicity. This dish is a reminder of how humble ingredients can create something truly special, especially during colder months. Up next, we embrace bold spices with an Anglo-Indian classic full of history. Mulligatawny soup,
the national soup of India, mulligatawny. Let's begin.
Is a fragrant Anglo-Indian dish that blends the warmth of curry spices with a rich, velvety base. Typically made with chicken or lamb, lentils, and rice, it features aromatic flavors from turmeric, cumin, and coriander. Coconut milk or cream adds a touch of richness, while ingredients like apples or lemon juice provide a hint of sweetness and tang. Its name translates to pepper water, reflecting its mildly spicy profile. Originally adapted for British tastes during colonial times, mulligatawny soup became a hearty favorite in kitchens worldwide. With its bold flavors and creamy texture, it's the perfect dish for both nourishment and comfort. Our next dish delivers a hearty stew with a colorful history and a robust flavor profile. Mulligan stew is a humble yet hearty dish that embodies the spirit of resourcefulness. Often made with whatever ingredients were available, the stew typically includes beef, potatoes, carrots, onions, and any seasonal vegetables. Slow cooked to perfection, the ingredients meld into a rich, flavorful broth. This dish gained popularity during the Great Depression, when communities pooled their resources to create nourishing meals. Its name reflects its mix-and-match nature, making it endlessly adaptable. Paired with bread or crackers, mulligan stew remains a symbol of ingenuity and a reminder of the power of shared meals during tough times. Our next entry takes us to a comforting soup with rich, savory depth and tender meat. Oxtail soup.
When I was growing up, my all-time favorite soup was oxtail soup.
Is a robust dish that turns a humble ingredient into something extraordinary. Made by slow-cooking oxtails with vegetables like carrots, celery, and onions, the soup develops a deeply flavorful broth with tender, melt-in-your-mouth meat. The gelatin from the bones creates a rich texture, while herbs like thyme and bay leaf enhance its savory profile. Often served with a slice of crusty bread, oxtail soup is the epitome of comfort food. Its ability to transform basic ingredients into a gourmet experience makes it a classic for cold weather meals and special occasions alike. Next up, we spice things up with a southern classic brimming with bold flavors. Gumbo is a beloved southern dish that combines bold flavors and rich history in a single bowl. This Louisiana classic is made with a dark roux, the foundation for its thick, flavorful broth. Often featuring a mix of seafood, chicken, or sausage, gumbo is packed with okra, bell peppers, celery, and onions, known as the Holy Trinity of Cajun cooking. Spiced with cayenne and seasoned with bay leaves, this hearty dish is typically served over rice. Gumbo's roots trace back to West African, French, and Spanish influences, making it a true melting pot of culinary traditions. Our next dish transforms a classic rice dish into a hearty, soupy delight. Jambalaya soup.
This morning on one of the most popular Louisiana dishes, jambalaya
is a flavorful spin on the classic Louisiana dish, turning the traditional one-pot rice meal into a comforting, brothy soup packed with shrimp, chicken, andouille sausage, and aromatic vegetables like bell peppers and celery. It's simmered in a spiced, tomato-based broth. The addition of rice adds heartiness, while Cajun seasoning provides a smoky, spicy kick. This adaptation retains all the vibrant flavors of its namesake, but with a lighter, soupy texture. Jambalaya soup is a warming dish that captures the essence of Southern cuisine, perfect for cold evenings. Our next dish offers a delicate and aromatic experience with a Vietnamese favorite. Pho is a Vietnamese noodle soup that has captured hearts worldwide with its fragrant broth and comforting simplicity. The base is a slow-cooked stock made with beef or chicken, infused with spices like star anise, cinnamon, and cloves. Rice noodles, tender slices of meat, and fresh herbs like basil and cilantro are added just before serving. Accompaniments like lime wedges, bean sprouts, and chili sauce allow diners to customize their bowls. Pho is more than just a meal. It's a ritual, bringing warmth and balance to every spoonful. Next, we cool things down with a refreshing, chilled Spanish classic. Gazpacho,
Spanish chef, and I'm going to be cooking a very traditional gazpacho.
Is a refreshing Spanish soup served cold, perfect for hot summer days. Made from ripe tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, and onions, it's blended into a smooth consistency with olive oil, vinegar, and a touch of garlic. Served chilled, gazpacho is light, tangy, and bursting with the vibrant flavors of fresh vegetables. Often garnished with croutons or diced veggies, it's a satisfying dish that requires no cooking. Originating in Andalusia, this soup is a celebration of simplicity and seasonal ingredients. Our next soup takes us to a beloved Jewish comfort dish with tender, fluffy dumplings. Matzo ball soup is a classic Jewish comfort food that warms both the heart and soul. The soup features a clear chicken broth filled with tender matzo balls made from matzo meal, eggs, and chicken fat. The dumplings, fluffy yet substantial, soak up the savory flavors of the broth. Often garnished with dill or parsley, this dish is a staple at Passover, but is equally cherished year-round. Matzo ball soup is not just a meal, it's a tradition, offering warmth and nourishment with every bowl. Next, we head to Scotland for a hearty dish packed with barley and tradition. Scotch broth is a hearty Scottish soup made with lamb or mutton, barley, and root vegetables like carrots, leeks, and turnips. The soup is slow cooked, allowing the ingredients to meld into a rich, savory broth. Barley adds a satisfying chewiness, while fresh herbs like thyme enhance the flavor. This rustic dish is a favorite for its nourishing qualities, providing warmth and sustenance during cold weather. Scotch broth is a timeless recipe that embodies the resourcefulness of Scottish cooking. Our next dish continues the Scottish theme with a chicken and leek soup that's as comforting as it is delicious. Cockaliki.
That is cockaliki soup made.
Is a traditional Scottish soup made with chicken, leeks, and barley. Often referred to as Scotland's national soup, it's hearty and flavorful, with a simple preparation that highlights the natural sweetness of the leeks. Sometimes prunes are added for a subtle sweetness, balancing the savory broth. This dish is slow-cooked to perfection, creating tender chicken and a rich, warming soup ideal for cold days. Next up, we have a refreshing option originating from Japan. Soba noodle soup is a light and nourishing Japanese dish made with buckwheat noodles served in a flavorful broth. The soup base is typically a combination of dashi, soy sauce, and mirin, providing a savory umami flavor. Sometimes served with a poached egg or pieces of chicken, soba noodle soup can be customized for a heartier meal. Warm and comforting in the winter, it's also served chilled in summer, showcasing its versatility. This dish is a staple of Japanese cuisine, providing a simple yet satisfying meal, topped with ingredients like sliced green onions, nori, or tempura. The soup offers a perfect balance of textures and flavors. Our next entry takes us to a creamy and rich dish with a nutty twist. Peanut soup is...
So my lovely, today I'm sharing with you the most easiest way to make a delicious big pot of peanut butter soup.
Is a rich and creamy dish with deep roots in African and Southern American cuisines. Made with a base of peanut butter or ground peanuts, it's combined with chicken or vegetable stock for a velvety texture. Often spiced with ginger, garlic, and onions, the soup has a warm, earthy flavor. Sweet potatoes or tomatoes are sometimes added for extra depth, creating a balance of sweet and savory notes. Served with bread or rice, peanut soup is hearty enough for a full meal. This comforting dish has been a favorite in regions where peanuts are a staple, celebrated for its simplicity and satisfying richness. The next soup transforms seasonal squash into a creamy, comforting bowl of warmth. Acorn squash soup is a velvety and mildly sweet dish that celebrates the natural flavor of this autumnal vegetable. The squash is roasted until tender, then blended with onions, garlic, and vegetable or chicken broth. Cream or coconut milk is often added for a silky texture, while warm spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, or ginger bring out its earthy sweetness. Topped with toasted seeds, croutons, or a drizzle of maple syrup, this soup is as visually appealing as it is delicious. Perfect for fall and winter, acorn squash soup is a comforting and wholesome meal that highlights the simplicity of seasonal ingredients. Our next dish delivers a delicate, savory flavor with a creamy vegetable base. Cream of asparagus soup.
Cream of asparagus soup. That's right, I'm going to show you how to make this unbelievably easy and classic spring soup.
Is a smooth and elegant dish that transforms fresh asparagus into a creamy, satisfying bowl. The asparagus is cooked with onions and garlic, then blended with cream or milk for a rich consistency. A splash of lemon juice or white wine is often added to enhance the flavor with a bright, tangy note. Served with a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese or a dollop of creme fraiche, this soup is both light and indulgent. Often enjoyed in spring when asparagus is in season, it's a timeless favorite for its fresh and vibrant taste. Next, we turn to a nourishing meal packed with vegetables and turkey. Turkey. Vegetable soup is a hearty, nutrient-packed dish that's often made using leftover turkey from holiday feasts. The turkey is shredded into a flavorful broth filled with seasonal vegetables like carrots, celery, potatoes, and green beans. Herbs like thyme and parsley add depth to the soup, while a handful of rice or barley makes it even more filling. This soup is a practical and delicious way to repurpose leftovers into a warming, comforting meal. Its hearty ingredients and simple preparation make it a timeless family favorite. Our next soup combines stuffed pepper flavors into a bowl of pure comforts. Stuffed pepper soup.
This easy stuffed pepper soup turns a dinner favorite.
Captures the essence of classic stuffed peppers in a warming, spoonable form. Made with ground beef or turkey, bell peppers, tomatoes, and rice, the soup offers all the familiar flavors of its namesake. Simmered in a seasoned broth with garlic and onions, the dish is hearty and flavorful, perfect for cold days. Often topped with shredded cheese or fresh herbs, stuffed pepper soup is an easy-to-make, family-friendly meal that transforms a labor-intensive dish into a quick, comforting bowl. Up next, we transform the simplicity of ground beef into a robust and satisfying soup. Hamburger soup.
Speedy hamburger soup
Is a hearty and economical dish that turns everyday ingredients into a rich, flavorful meal. Ground beef is browned and simmered in a tomato-based broth with a mix of vegetables like carrots, celery, potatoes, and green beans. Herbs like oregano or thyme enhance the flavor, while a handful of pasta or rice makes it extra filling. This soup was a staple during hard times for its affordability and ability to stretch ingredients, making it a comforting favorite for families. The next soup on our list offers a tangy twist with the inclusion of fermented cabbage. Sauerkraut soup is a tangy, savory dish that combines the unique flavor of fermented cabbage with hearty ingredients like sausage, potatoes, and onions. Simmered in a rich broth with garlic and paprika, the soup is both warming and flavorful. The sauerkraut adds a distinctive tartness that balances the richness of the sausage, creating a dish that's both comforting and bold. Often served with rye bread, sauerkraut soup is a staple in Eastern European cuisine, prized for its nourishing qualities and vibrant taste. Next, we take a trip to Italy with a pasta-filled soup that's brimming with flavor. Tortellini soup.
Well, today we're making sausage tortellini soup.
Is an Italian-inspired dish that combines tender, cheese-filled tortellini with a savory broth. Often made with chicken or vegetable stock, the soup includes ingredients like tomatoes, spinach, and garlic, creating a flavorful and hearty bowl. A sprinkle of Parmesan cheese adds richness, while fresh basil provides a fragrant finishing touch. Quick to prepare and endlessly customizable, tortellini soup is a comforting meal that's perfect for busy weeknights or casual family dinners. The next entry brings the zesty, bold flavors of Mexico Mexico into a warm, inviting soup. Chicken tortilla soup,
Flavor-packed chicken tortilla soup. So let's get started.
is a flavorful Mexican dish made with shredded chicken, tomatoes, and a spiced broth. The soup often includes beans, corn, and a blend of cumin, chili powder, and garlic for a smoky kick. Topped with crispy tortilla strips, avocado slices, and a dollop of sour cream, it's a satisfying meal that combines vibrant flavors and textures. Chicken tortilla soup is a go-to for cold nights, offering warmth and a little spice in every bite. Next up, a trip to Mexico. Albondigas, or Mexican meatball soup, is a comforting dish that combines hearty flavors and satisfying textures. The soup features tender, handmade meatballs made from ground beef or pork, mixed with rice, onions, and herbs. These are simmered in a richly seasoned tomato broth infused with garlic, cumin, and oregano. Vegetables such as carrots, zucchini, and potatoes are often added, creating a well-rounded, nourishing meal. The meatballs absorb the flavors of the broth as they cook, becoming soft and flavorful. A sprinkle of fresh cilantro or a squeeze of lime juice adds a vibrant finishing touch. Albondigas soup is perfect for chilly evenings or as a hearty family meal, offering warmth and comfort in every bowl. Its simple yet satisfying recipe has made it a beloved classic in Mexican households for generations. Our next soup transports us to Tuscany with a creamy, savory blend of potatoes, sausage, and kale. Zuppa Toscana, meaning Tuscan soup, is a creamy and flavorful dish inspired by the rustic cuisine of Tuscany. This soup combines tender potatoes, spicy Italian sausage, and leafy kale in a rich broth made with cream and chicken stock. The sausage adds a savory depth, while the kale provides a hearty texture and an earthy balance. Garlic, onions, and a pinch of red pepper flakes enhance the flavor, creating a dish that is both warming and satisfying. Often served with crusty bread, Zuppa Toscana is a favorite for its comforting richness and simple preparation. Though it has gained popularity globally, its origins reflect the hearty, straightforward dishes of rural Tuscany, made to nourish and satisfy on even the coldest days. Our next dish highlights the natural sweetness of sweet potatoes in a velvety, comforting soup. Sweet potato soup.
This sweet potato soup recipe is really simple and easy to make. It has garlic and ginger to add some bold flavors, and boy is it a heartwarming and healthy soup.
Is a creamy and vibrant dish that turns this humble root vegetable into a flavorful, warming meal. Roasted or boiled sweet potatoes are blended with onions, garlic, and vegetable or chicken stock to create a velvety base. A touch of cream or coconut milk adds richness, while warm spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, or cumin enhance the soup's natural sweetness. Often garnished with toasted seeds, a swirl of cream, or fresh herbs, this soup is as visually appealing as it is delicious. Sweet potato soup's hearty yet light profile makes it perfect for chilly days or as a starter for festive meals. Its balance of sweet and savory flavors ensures it's a dish that pleases a wide range of palates. Our next soup offers a hearty combination of tender kale and creamy white beans. Kale and white bean soup.
Today we're making my creamy white bean and kale soup. It is really healthy, but surprisingly creamy and packed with so much flavor.
Is a rustic, hearty dish that combines wholesome ingredients into a flavorful and satisfying meal. Leafy kale and tender cannellini or navy beans are simmered in a savory broth made with garlic, onions, and a splash of white wine. The soup is often enriched with herbs like thyme or rosemary, and sometimes includes a touch of crushed red pepper for a subtle kick. A drizzle of olive oil or a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese adds a finishing touch, enhancing the depth of flavors. Served with crusty bread, this soup is a nourishing choice that's both comforting and nutritious. Its simplicity and heartiness make it a staple for cold weather meals. Next, we blend tender cauliflower into a creamy, velvety classic, perfect for winter days. Cream of cauliflower soup.
I'm showing you how to make creamy cauliflower soup. This soup is full of vegetables, it's good for you, and it tastes good too.
Is a delicate and creamy dish that transforms this mild vegetable into a comforting bowl of warmth. Cauliflower is simmered with onions, garlic, and vegetable or chicken stock, then pureed into a smooth consistency. A touch of cream or milk adds richness, while a sprinkle of nutmeg or white pepper enhances the soup's subtle flavor. Often garnished with crispy croutons, grated cheese, or a drizzle of olive oil, cream of cauliflower soup is both elegant and satisfying. Its light yet hearty texture makes it a versatile dish, suitable as a starter or a main course when paired with bread. Perfect for chilly days, this soup highlights the versatility of cauliflower while providing a soothing, creamy meal. Our next soup offers a nutty and chewy experience with the addition of wild rice. Wild rice soup.
I want to share with you how to make a really simple, easy, and comforting chicken and wild rice soup.
Is a creamy, hearty dish that celebrates the unique texture and flavor of this nutty grain. Cooked wild rice is combined with a savory base made from chicken or vegetable stock, onions, carrots, and celery. Cream or milk is added to create a rich, velvety consistency, while garlic and thyme enhance the flavor. Often featuring shredded chicken or mushrooms, this soup is filling and deeply satisfying. Its combination of creamy broth and chewy rice offers a delightful contrast that makes every spoonful enjoyable. Wild rice soup is perfect for winter meals, providing comfort and nourishment with every bowl. Up next, we spice things up with a version of chili that brings a touch of soup-like richness. Chili in soup form is a lighter twist on the classic hearty stew. This version features ground beef or turkey, beans, and diced tomatoes simmered in a well-seasoned broth. Chili powder, cumin, and paprika provide the smoky spice, while onions, garlic, and bell peppers add depth. The soup's thinner consistency makes it easy to enjoy as a meal starter or as a main dish paired with cornbread or crackers. Topped with shredded cheese, sour cream, or fresh cilantro, it's a customizable favorite that brings warmth and bold flavors to the table. Our next dish turns a pasta night favorite into a comforting bowl of soup. Spaghetti soup is a playful, comforting twist on a classic pasta dish. This soup features broken spaghetti or thin pasta noodles cooked in a rich tomato-based broth with ground beef, onions, and garlic. Herbs like oregano and basil bring the familiar flavors of Italian cuisine, while grated Parmesan cheese adds a touch of indulgence. With its simple ingredients and quick preparation, spaghetti soup is a family-friendly meal that's both satisfying and nostalgic. It's perfect for busy weeknights or as a fun way to use up pantry staples. Next, we take a hearty English favorite and turn it into a cozy, spoonable dish. Shepherd's pie soup captures the essence of the classic casserole in a comforting, brothy form. This soup features ground beef or lamb simmered with carrots, peas, and onions in a savory beef stock. Diced potatoes or a dollop of mashed potatoes are added to mimic the hearty filling of traditional shepherd's pie. With its rich, meaty flavors and comforting ingredients, this soup offers the same satisfaction as its namesake, while being easier to prepare. It's a warm, nostalgic dish perfect for cold evenings. The next soup on our list uses an unusual ingredient: turnip soup. Turnip soup is a rustic dish that highlights the earthy flavor of this often overlooked root vegetable. The turnips are simmered with onions, garlic, and potatoes in a flavorful vegetable or chicken broth, creating a creamy and hearty base. The soup is typically pureed to a smooth consistency, with cream or milk added to enhance its velvety texture. Herbs like thyme or parsley are used to complement the natural sweetness of the turnips, while a touch of nutmeg adds a warm, subtle spice. Often garnished with crispy bacon bits, toasted bread, or a drizzle of olive oil, turnip soup transforms humble ingredients into an elegant meal. It's a dish that's both simple and satisfying, offering warmth and nourishment on a chilly day. Turnip soup is particularly popular in regions where turnips are a winter staple, making it an economical yet delicious way to feed a family. Our next soup combines two simple ingredients to create a comforting and timeless classic: leek and potato soup.
I'm showing you how to make leek and potato soup.
Leek and potato soup is a creamy, flavorful dish that's celebrated for its simplicity and heartiness. This French-inspired soup features tender potatoes and sweet aromatic leeks simmered together in a chicken or vegetable broth. Once cooked, the mixture is blended until smooth, creating a silky texture. Cream or milk is often added to enhance its richness, while a sprinkle of black pepper and fresh chives finishes the dish with a burst of flavor. The soup's delicate balance of flavors makes it a versatile option, equally suited for elegant dinners or casual family meals. Often served with crusty bread, leek and potato soup is a warming, comforting choice that's perfect for cold days. It's a classic recipe that transforms simple ingredients into a meal that feels both satisfying and refined. Our next dish turns fresh, vibrant peas into a creamy, colorful delight. Green pea soup. Green pea soup is a vibrant and refreshing dish that transforms simple peas into a flavorful and comforting meal. Fresh or frozen peas are cooked with onions, garlic, and a light vegetable or chicken stock, then blended into a smooth, bright green soup. The addition of cream or milk creates a velvety texture, while fresh mint or parsley provides a refreshing herbal note. This soup is as visually appealing as it is delicious, with its cheerful color making it a standout on any table. Often garnished with croutons croutons, crispy bacon, or a dollop of creme fraiche, green pea soup is a versatile dish that works well as a starter or a light main course. It's particularly popular in spring when peas are at their peak, offering a taste of the season in every bowl. Next, we turn to a hearty and nutritious dish featuring lentils and aromatic spices. Curry lentil soup.
Today I am in the kitchen making a super yummy coconut curry lentil soup.
Curry lentil soup is a flavorful and satisfying dish that combines the earthy richness of lentils with bold, warming spices. The soup is made by simmering red or green lentils with onions, garlic, ginger, and curry spices such as turmeric, cumin, and coriander. Coconut milk or a touch of cream adds a silky texture, balancing the spices with a subtle sweetness. Often garnished with fresh cilantro, lime wedges, or a dollop of yogurt, this soup offers a perfect balance of warmth and brightness. It's packed with protein and fiber, making it a nourishing option for vegetarians and meat eaters alike. Served with naan bread or rice, curry lentil soup is a comforting meal that's as hearty as it is flavorful. Next, we blend the sweetness of pumpkin with creamy coconut for a rich, warming dish. Coconut pumpkin soup.
It's soup season, so let's make a Thai-style spicy coconut pumpkin soup.
Oh yeah! Coconut pumpkin soup is a velvety, luxurious dish that combines the natural sweetness of pumpkin with the creaminess of coconut milk. Roasted or pureed pumpkin forms the base, while garlic, ginger, and onions add depth to the flavor. Warm spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, or curry powder enhance the soup's complexity, creating a dish that's both savory and slightly sweet. The addition of coconut milk gives the soup a rich, silky texture, making it feel indulgent yet light. Often garnished with toasted pumpkin seeds, a swirl of cream, or fresh herbs like cilantro. This soup is as visually appealing as it is delicious. Coconut pumpkin soup is a popular choice for fall and winter, offering comfort and warmth in every spoonful. Our next entry showcases the smoky sweetness of roasted red peppers. Roasted red pepper soup.
Hey, what's up guys? Today we are making a big pot of roasted red pepper soup. This is pure roasted red pepper flavor.
Roasted red pepper soup is a bold and flavorful dish that highlights the smoky sweetness of charred red peppers. The peppers are roasted until their skins blister, then blended with onions, garlic, and vegetable or chicken stock to create a rich, velvety base. The addition of cream or coconut milk enhances its texture, while a touch of smoked paprika or cayenne adds depth and spice. Often garnished with a swirl of cream, fresh herbs, or croutons, this soup is both comforting and elegant. Its vibrant red hue and bold flavor make it a standout on any table. Roasted red pepper soup is perfect as a starter or a light main course, especially during cooler months when its smoky warmth feels particularly satisfying. Our next soup combines the richness of sausage with the heartiness of leafy kale for a classic pairing. Sausage and kale soup.
I'm going to show you how to make a sausage and kale soup.
Sausage and kale soup is a rustic, hearty dish that brings together savory sausage and tender kale in a flavorful broth. Italian sausage, either spicy or mild, is browned and simmered with garlic, onions, and potatoes, creating a rich and satisfying base. The addition of kale adds an earthy balance and a boost of nutrients. Often enriched with cream or milk, this soup achieves a velvety consistency that contrasts beautifully with the hearty ingredients. Red pepper flakes can be added for a touch of spice, while grated Parmesan cheese provides a final layer of indulgence. Perfect for cold evenings, sausage and kale soup is a comforting meal that feels like a warm hug in a bowl. Next, we take zucchini to new heights with a creamy, delicate soup perfect for any season. Cream of zucchini soup.
Today we will prepare cream of zucchini soup. This creamy zucchini soup is quite plentiful and very tasty, with a light garlic aroma.
Cream of zucchini soup is a light and velvety dish that transforms simple zucchini into a flavorful and comforting meal. The zucchini is sautéed with onions and garlic, then simmered in vegetable or chicken broth until tender. The mixture is pureed into a smooth consistency, with cream or milk added to create a luscious texture. A hint of thyme or basil enhances the soup's delicate flavor, while a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese or freshly cracked pepper finishes it off. Cream of zucchini soup is as versatile as it is delicious, perfect as a starter or a light main course when paired with crusty bread. Its mild, creamy taste and ease of preparation make it a favorite for busy weeknights or elegant dinners alike. Our next soup takes the comforting flavors of stuffed cabbage and delivers them in a bowl. Stuffed cabbage roll soup.
Hello everybody, today we make a cabbage roll soup.
Stuffed cabbage roll soup is a deconstructed version of the classic comfort dish, offering all the hearty flavors in an easier-to-prepare format. This soup features ground beef or pork, cabbage, rice, and tomatoes, simmered in a savory broth. Garlic, onions, and herbs like dill or parsley enhance the flavor, while a splash of vinegar adds a tangy kick. The soup's ingredients meld beautifully, creating a rich, satisfying meal perfect for cold evenings. Stuffed cabbage roll. Soup is a one-pot dish that simplifies the time-consuming process of making traditional cabbage rolls while still delivering the same comforting experience. Topped with sour cream or served with crusty bread, it's a crowd pleaser that brings family-favorite flavors to the table. Next, we revisit a creamy and savory vegetable classic with a delicate celery base. Cream of celery.
For today, another soup recipe, a diet soup recipe, the best homemade cream of celery soup.
Cream of celery soup is a delicate and aromatic dish that turns this humble vegetable into a silky, satisfying bowl of comfort. Celery is sautéed with onions and garlic, then simmered in broth until tender. The mixture is pureed to a smooth consistency, with cream or milk added for richness. The soup's mild flavor is elevated with a hint of white pepper or thyme, creating a dish that's simple yet refined. Often served with a garnish of celery leaves or croutons, cream of celery soup is versatile, working as both a starter and a light main course. Its creamy texture and gentle flavor make it a timeless choice for any occasion. Our next entry takes a less common vegetable, eggplant, and transforms it into a warming soup. Eggplant soup.
Folks, I'm back with another recipe inspired by my recent trip to Turkey. Today we're going to be making a delicious eggplant soup.
Eggplant soup is a rich and smoky dish that showcases the versatility of this unique vegetable. Roasted eggplant is blended with garlic, onions, and tomatoes to create a flavorful base. The addition of vegetable broth and a touch of cream gives the soup a smooth consistency. Herbs like basil or thyme enhance the earthy flavor, while a drizzle of olive oil or a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese adds a final touch of indulgence. Eggplant soup is both hearty and wholesome, perfect as a light meal or a starter for a Mediterranean-inspired menu. Its deep, smoky flavor and creamy texture make it a standout choice for cooler weather. Cabbage soup. To wrap up this amazing list, we have cabbage soup, the hero of the hard times. This unassuming dish has been a lifesaver for countless families throughout history, offering warmth, nutrition, and hope in a steaming bowl. Cabbage, the star of the show, was cheap, widely available, and packed with nutrients like vitamin C and fiber. Back during the Great Depression or wartime rationing, families turned to cabbage soup because it could stretch a handful of simple ingredients, like onions, potatoes, or carrots, into a meal that fed everyone. Add a pinch of salt, maybe a dash of spices if you were lucky, and you had something comforting and delicious to gather around. Cabbage soup wasn't just about survival. It brought people together. Families sat at the table, shared stories, and found a little joy in each other's company. It wasn't fancy, but it was a reminder that warmth and love can be cooked up, even in hard times. These 75 classic soups have been a beacon of hope and comfort for families navigating hard times. Across cultures and generations, they've provided warmth, sustenance, and a sense of togetherness. From hearty stews to nourishing broths, these soups have been a testament to the power of food in bringing people together. They remind us that even in the darkest moments, there's always love, comfort, and hope to be found in a shared, steaming bowl of soup. Their legacy continues to warm hearts and bellies today. Which of these soups will you be trying? Do let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video for more content like this. See you in the next video.